All right, guys, welcome into episode 3. We're just gonna start with Bob Kraft right off the bat. It's just happened. I'm here with Noah and Will, by the way. With Noah, Wolfgang, and Will Hogsett. What are your initial reactions to this, guys?
So he's gonna get away with it. It's too much money.
Yeah.
But right now it's a misdemeanor. That's what Will said. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good look for the Patriots. Not that they've maintained a clean look throughout the years, but the prostitution ring cannot be good for the Patriots. And I'm reading a report right now from Adam Schefter that says that Robert Kraft is not the biggest name involved in the in the accusation. So that just leads you, like, who's bigger than Rob Kraft? You know what I mean? The man's won 6 titles in the last 20 years, and getting involved with this stuff. It's not out of. I hate to say it. It's not out of, like, it's not something I want to expect from the Patriots. Like, out of all organizations, I just feel like they always find a way to get into some, dirty business. And I'm not really hating on the Patriots, but I think their record shows.
And what's crazy is there's the strictly football dirty business, but This is the second time it's been outside of football they've gotten into dirty business in the decade.
Yeah, Hernandez is worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can't kill a guy.
Yeah.
But we don't know how deep the ring was. Was there any type of? I think I'm just making this into like some weird gangster movie in my mind. But you said it goes deeper. He's not the biggest guy in there.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, not a good look. I'm not gonna try to compare it to the Hernandez thing because that's like on another whole different moral level. But like I just keep saying, the Patriots just keep getting into this, and this is obviously like the beginning of what's gonna happen. The report was released last night, early this morning, or something like that.
This morning, I think.
Yeah.
So like I said, Schefter says that wouldn't be surprised if some more big names come out of that. So
Jesus.
I think like we're only in the beginning right now, and it's like the initial reaction, and it's just wild,
Yeah, it reminds me of Warren Sapp. You remember when Warren Sapp got busted for the same thing? Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, you don't remember?
I don't.
Man,
when was that? What year?
It was like right after he got in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, dude.
Same prostitution?
Yeah. I think he was soliciting prostitution.
And so what kind of effect would you say that's had on his persona?
He got kicked off NFL Network. I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, just kind of erased. But, Robert Kraft is, he's coming off a Super Bowl, he's...
That's what this is. He's just riding high still off the Super Bowl.
So I guess so.
He did it... Obviously riding high the wrong way, but
I
don't know. You wouldn't expect this from a guy like Bob Kraft,
Yeah, I get that.
He's kind of a class act.
You see him as a class act, and he's he's very old, and like I'm not saying that
77.
The drive isn't there anymore when you're old, but Rob Kraft in such a public position, man. I don't know why you fool around with that kind of stuff,
It's not funny, but like. What the hell? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I found some stuff on SAP. So that happened in 2015 in this article, which was from August 2015, a couple months after the whole thing broke. It says he'll face up to 6 months in jail and 3 years probation. Now, that was Warren Sapp. Haven't heard a darn thing about him since this happened.
Yeah.
Might as well have been 6 years, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Noah mentioned earlier, he's only right now in line for a misdemeanor charge, which I feel like that's pretty.
Guy's a lot of money.
Yeah, like I just say that's kind of nuts, man, because like prostitution's a big deal, like we said.
Top of the line lawyers.
Yeah, and potential punishment, it says, of 60 days of jail time, and like we probably know that that's not gonna happen, unfortunately, and it's just like that just brings up a bigger issue, like. Obviously, Hernandez didn't get away with it, but, like, that's just brought up to such a national scale that it gets so blown over the top of everyone, so.
I'm looking at Bob Kraft now. His net worth, almost $7 billion.
That's crazy.
So, dude's got money.
Oh, yeah.
He can fight this for a while, but I think if it was anybody else, he would have to give up the team.
Do you think it's
since
possible
it's Bob
that
Kraft?
like doing some heavy funding of the ring. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Did it say he was running it?
It's too early.
Yeah, it's so early. That's the worst part. It's so early, and we're just now understanding these are just the first initial, breaks, man. And like the first one comes out, and he's like, it's in a prostitution ring, and like, okay, that's a big deal. And then like, I hate to keep bringing it up, but if there's more people in this that we know, like, how deep does this actually go?
Yeah,
I think it's severely unlikely that he's funding it. But,
yeah,
like we said, you never know.
Yeah, and the worst part is like they say they have video evidence of him, and
Okay,
so like
he's not gonna get out of it.
No, you can't. I mean, you can't get away from it, especially if they at some point release a video. Like, it's not something I'd like to see, but if it's that like clear and right in front of you, I don't know how you could get away with it.
I mean, if this was anybody else,
oh yeah,
he would sell. They would have to sell the team, like give up the team.
Yeah.
Like Sterling had to do with the Clippers. I mean, that was different, but did he, something like that.
I feel like if Irsay did this, he'd be gone.
Yeah.
I don't think Irsay would ever do anything like this. He gets arrested for different types of things.
Yeah, and like, what kind of level of organization do you think would you need to be a part of? Like, obviously the Patriots are valued so high just over the last 20 years just because they keep winning, right? So, but like, honestly, if it's any different, I think the Patriots just have this idea behind them of, not necessarily being bad, but always like right in the line of what's going on. So
there's always something going on.
Exactly. And so
always get away with it too.
If something like this would happen to, I don't know, say the Warriors or something like that, I think even though they have a decently comparable record of winning the last couple of years, I just still think the idea behind their organization, they just won't stand for that, And I mean, this may be a one-time thing with the Patriots, but like, I just feel like the Patriots, you never hate to say that you weren't surprised when an NFL owner came out, or a report came out that an NFL owner was involved in a prostitution ring, but if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Bob Kraft.
Yeah, I mean, look at him up in the Super Bowl up there in his box, always surrounded by women.
Yeah. Women and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
So, what kind of ripples do you think this is going to have in the lower levels with the Patriots, with coaching, the players, and do you think it's possible any, players were involved?
No, I'd be shocked. More shocked than him now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you said earlier, we were talking earlier, if Belichick's there, this doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
This doesn't matter.
It's just a distraction, but the Patriots are the best team in the NFL at, blocking out distractions and winning anyways.
They have been, like, so
long.
And like almost it got to the point this past season where it wasn't even a distraction anymore because people got kind of tired of them and they weren't playing, I guess, up to the standard that they were.
Yeah.
It's just like they used it as motivation, almost. And so they've kind of flipped the script a bit, and this just doesn't help,
You can't use this as motivation.
No, you can't.
It's not possible.
No,
that whole underdog thing, whether you think they were or not, that was actually fantastic. We talked about that in the class that we had.
Yeah.
The value of the
Convince
underdog.
yourself you're the underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're not. You're the Patriots.
No,
you're not.
There's no way out of it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I just hate to say it, but like, I just hope we don't forget about this in like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, this is just stuff like this can't happen, no matter who you are, no matter.
It's true.
No matter how high tier you are, you just can't be able to get away with this kind of stuff.
I'm sure by the next episode we'll have a lot more on
Yeah,
this.
something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And probably some more names, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
More names will come out.
See if any other owners are involved.
Oh,
And that's a whole, and if there's more owners, like if there's more owners involved in this thing, that's a whole nother discussion. Like
that turns into the NFL.
Yeah, no, that turns into an
NFL
NFL issue. Like right now it is a Patriots basically mainly issue, Rob Kraft issue, but like if there finds out that they're like big tier NFL players, coaches, is anyone else involved with the NFL, like this could be a bad look for the NFL.
And think about, I think it already is a terrible look for the NFL, because think about the face of the NFL. You have Jerry's World over there in Dallas. You have Tom Brady. Like we said, I don't think it's going to trickle down, but Kraft is certainly a face of the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh,
so a lot of people are going to see that.
Yeah.
People have been trashing them for the CTE issues, which are clearly present.
Which they don't care about.
And Kareem Hunt getting signed, which they don't care about either.
Yeah,
With the abuse.
it's like you forget about that. You heard he got signed, and I'm not trying to switch topics, but like,
No, it's fine.
So there's going to be calls, obviously. That's going to be insane in the next couple weeks for Goodell to do something. One, because everyone just wants to see the Patriots
Get punished.
get punished.
Yeah.
And two, this seems like a legitimate. The NFL just needs to lay down punishment that's not confined to a player kneeling before the anthem. It needs to be for something more serious.
yeah. This is, I mean, it's a big moment for the NFL. I mean, you got to wait till everything, you got to wait till, you know, basically all the facts, and you got to make sure everything's kind of gone down. But I think outside of like a legal discipline for Kraft, obviously, I think the NFL should do something. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what you do, whether,
And fast.
yeah,
Gotta do it
absolutely.
fast.
You got to do it. Like, you got to nip it in the butt, you know?
Yeah.
You really do.
You can't suspend an owner, can you? It's just like you have to relinquish like ownership or something, or you can get a fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Well, when the Sterling thing happened, he got banned. Like, he can't go to an arena or
I don't
anything.
know if Kraft would get banned for this, though. I don't.
But the thing, like, it's
Yeah.
like, if he was running it, it's like, you need the money? Like, you don't
Yeah,
need the money.
yeah.
You, how much? You're worth $6 billion. You own the Patriots.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know if he was running it. I just think he was.
what are you getting out of this? I mean, sex, yeah. But money-wise, you're getting nothing.
Nothing. You could
Pennies
yeah,
compared
you
to
could
what.
invest into other different things. So, I just don't think it could go. You know, whatever. I just don't think you could let it go being the NFL.
And this happened in Jupiter, Florida, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't think we pointed that out.
at a spa. At a
spa.
spa. But I think worst case scenario for him, he has to get rid of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Best case scenario, like he gets suspended for like a year.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so they got to do something for sure.
And so this is obviously another main figure in the news, Jim Boeheim.
Yeah.
And it's different. Jim Boeheim killed a guy who was on the interstate,
Just an accident.
just an accident
Yeah.
that killed, and like,
He's an old guy too, Boeheim.
and he's not, and like that's the thing, he's not. I mean, it's still not a good look for him, but like you could see how Boeheim, at least it wasn't on purpose. Like obviously Kraft knew what he was getting into. He knew the risk that he was taking by doing it. But Boeheim, it just seemed to be like, a freak accident almost. And so, but I pulled up something that said that he is going to coach against Duke.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow, right?
yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, killing a person can't affect you positively mentally, and so we don't know what's going on in his head, but like, it's not a good thing as well. It's not as bad as Kraft, but like,
No.
you just don't want to be in the news for killing someone, you know?
I think this was definitely an accident. Do you mind if I kind of just read a passage?
Yeah, go ahead.
An article here.
Yeah.
So this is by Douglas Dowdy for Syracuse.com. So it says, a car with 4 people in it spun out Wednesday night on a darkened Interstate 690 covered in freezing rain. The Dodge Charger hit a guardrail, ended up sideways on the highway, and was almost immediately struck by a passing vehicle. The men realized they needed to get to safety, so they jumped out of the unlit disabled car and made a high-stakes scramble to get off the highway. So that's when Syracuse men's basketball coach Jen Boeheim came upon the crash in his GMC Acadia SUV, and it was an unlit 3-lane section of eastbound highway just over a rise in the highway before the Thompson Road Bridge. So I think that's kind of the description. That's just what was from the article. But so obviously, if the road was unlit, if it's icy, and this is an older guy,
Yeah.
and they say that teens and the elderly are the least aware when they're driving. So I definitely think this is an accident. And I think he's obviously come out and said stuff about it.
Yeah.
It's completely different than Kraft's situation.
I mean, to me, there's not much to say.
No.
Just accident.
Yeah, unfortunate.
You'll just
Yeah.
have to live with it, and I'm sure that's terrible. I have to have that on your conscience.
But
I am surprised he's coming back this early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he would take a game or
This
two.
was 2 days ago, a day ago.
Yeah. It was after was it after the Louisville game?
yeah,
I think
Okay.
it was the night of the Duke UNC game
Oh, okay.
that
Yeah.
happened. So that was Wednesday night.
and like you said, it's hard for me to believe that he come back this early. But I mean, when it's Duke, You know, if it's another team, if it's like, I don't know, Notre Dame or something like that, then do you really come back? Like,
Yeah.
you could take some time. And, like, I'm not trying to get into his head mentally, but, like, Duke's a big game whenever you play him. So,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, he takes pride in his team and stuff like that. But, I mean, I don't know how much of an effect it would go, like, during the game. I think as a coach, especially that of his level that's been coaching for so long, I mean, he could zone out into the game, zone out and focus on the game. But still, I still don't think it's a good look for Syracuse and Boeheim. So
No, definitely not.
Does anyone know where this game is at? Is it at Duke?
yeah.
Do you think the crowd would be relentless enough? We just saw what happened with IU and the FU harms.
Right.
Do you think the crowd is going to be crazy enough to say anything?
Well, I mean, remember in that book we read? And
Yeah, with Steve Kerr, his dad was killed by, what was it?
They didn't give a damn.
Yeah, they were, PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization. Yeah. Steve Kerr's dad was assassinated by them. You'd think Duke would have their student section under control, like, hey, keep
if
your
they
mouth
did,
shut.
Coach K would put a stop to that shit real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But because him and Boeheim, they're old friends. I mean,
No, it's in Syracuse,
friends.
so
okay.
I don't think anything will be happening there. But
Oh, it's at Syracuse, and
Yep.
I did read a report that Zion's not going to be playing.
yeah, both teams are kind of coming in a situation they haven't had all season.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a different situation, especially with the Zion thing being just so much greater than college, so much greater than Duke. You know what I mean? He's like a representative for all the younger players that are trying to, and it's not necessarily on the NCAA side that where you can't go into the draft. I think they mentioned something. I think I saw an article yesterday about Adam Silver kind of proposing to drop the age for draft eligibility down to 18.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and that's the thing. A guy who's as talented as Zion breaks out of his shoe, and like on one end, that's a whole Nike situation. But then again, he's just like representing money, that he possibly has. And like some of these players, I think I still think there's a place for the NCAA in college basketball. But players of the Zion level who are already just freak athletes coming out of high school and probably could play in the NBA out of a high school, like they're just losing money, And like I said, I still feel like there's a way to make it work. I still feel like you see players that maybe go into college without that much recruiting, and then they build their game through the NCAA. So, but it just opens a whole another discussion as it relates to the younger college basketball players and freshmen.
I mean, let's just shift to Zion now.
Okay.
There's a lot to do with this beyond basketball. I'm kind of amazed at the talks that it sparked.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the injury first. I mean, dude ripped through his shoe.
Yeah, those PGs.
I mean, that was
yeah.
PGs failed him.
Choked him.
Yeah.
I kind of quit watching when that happened.
Yeah.
That's why I'm watching. I want to see this guy.
I have to listen on the radio. That's what I do all season.
And did they think? I mean, obviously, when you saw him go down, he's a freak athlete. He's 285 pounds.
Oh yeah.
No shoe can be like built perfectly for him. You know what I mean? But he just rips through it.
This thing looks like it got hit a guardrail going like 200 miles down the highway.
He got run over by a lawnmower or something.
It's listeners obviously can't see it, but what is that? The left side of his shoe is just completely ripped open, just utterly ripped open.
And there was a lot of fear early that it could be a long-term injury, right? And I think they've downgraded it to
It's a grade 1.
He's day to day.
Yeah, he's day to day with the.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But obviously, when you see a player go down like the way he did, with kind of his legs spread out,
grabs his knee,
like you just gotta think ACL or something like that. Just
especially after seeing the Victor thing here in Indiana just a month ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, like with those generational players, because I hate giving the title to generational player to a college basketball freshman, but
he is.
He sure looks like it.
We haven't seen anyone like LeBron was good at basketball Zion's good at basketball and already, like, physically peak LeBron, I feel like. So,
Because we couldn't see LeBron in college.
yeah.
So
And that's the thing. Like, LeBron, I mean, he's always been injury-free throughout his years, but that changes the game. Like, that really does. Imagine if Braun would have went to, I don't know, Ohio State, I think that's his favorite college now.
Yeah, he probably would have gone there.
And just, like, blew out his knee. Like, that he would have lost so much money for that. And you gotta be thankful that Zion, obviously, is day-to-day and is at least treating it okay. But, like, moving forward, it has to have some sort of effect in the NBA and NCAA policy, you know?
Do you guys think he should come back this year? I think he should.
I
mean, they can win the title
yeah.
with him. I think,
he needs to give it time. He doesn't need to push it, but if he can come back.
yeah.
I mean, the Duke's good without him.
Yeah.
Can they win a title without him? I mean, March Madness is crazy,
I
but
think we got our answer in that game. It's just.
yeah.
Let's talk about that game. I think Carolina would have won anyway.
You think
They
so?
looked
I mean, they really handled that
fantastic.
game. It's one of
Yeah.
those games where Duke's down 10 the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, they're never really in the game.
Yeah.
And Luke May just shredded them.
Yeah, and I don't know. Is that would you put that on, like, kind of the mental side, seeing Zion go down like that, break his shoe out? Like, I'm not gonna say. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
would.
obviously UNC is a good team, right?
Yeah.
But I just find that hard to. I find it hard to beat Duke at Duke just in any situation normally. Anyway, you know. So,
Yeah. I mean, the game would have been closer if he
Mhm.
was in, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody
What was the
can
final
guard
match?
him, period. But nobody on Carolina can guard him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Or at least match up with them, you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, like, there's a difference between being able to, you know, no one could guard him, like you said, but if you got someone that's kind of, you know, just big and can kind of, you know, just
can move his feet.
yeah, and just kind of stay in front of him a bit. You got to make him do something else, and, like, you know, you're gonna lose if they're just stealing the ball and doing alley oops the whole time, because that's like, yeah, that's showboating and stuff like that, but that's just easy buckets, and, like, being an IU fan, it's
Rough life.
it
Very
is.
rough.
It is a very rough life. It's just like you watch the Duke play, and then you watch IU, and it's like almost a completely different game.
Different sport.
Yeah, because they're just,
Makes it look so easy. How
They
is
are
it so easy?
and obviously they got the three top pretty
got
much
Coach
recruits
K.
in the nation, and they have Coach K, one of the greatest coaches, if not, like, of our generation, basketball wise. But
Yeah.
I mean, Duke's gonna be there every year because of Coach K, and then you get these players, and I don't think Zion should sit out. I think he has a reason. I think he has reasons too, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think also, like, you could win a national championship, and, like, not everyone. That's very hard to do. You know, Carmelo, people forget about it, but he won a national championship.
Yeah, he did.
Only championship he's won in a while. Only championship he's won in a while. But, like, back then he was regarded very, very highly because of that. And obviously the mindset around Carmelo has changed since he's gotten into the NBA. But
I mean, if you win a title at Duke, you're a legend at
Yeah.
Duke. I mean, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill,
yeah.
yeah,
Bobby Hurley,
Yeah.
those guys are like gods at Duke.
immortalized.
Yeah.
You'll never forget about him.
But even like guys like Austin Rivers, he was good at Duke, didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not in the same breath as those guys.
Yeah.
I think that's just a product of how good Duke's been. Put
Mhm.
yourself on the pedestal there. You have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The title.
And that's
Really
just
do.
like, and that's something that Duke fans, and I mean not only Duke fans, like probably as of recent Kentucky got fans that almost just expect, like, it's not even a thought of if we're gonna make the tournament or not. You know, like, are we gonna make it to the Final Four this year? Are we gonna win the national championship? Like, teams, like, fans in those fan bases could absolutely argue that they could win the championship almost every year now.
Every year.
Every single year. And that's something to do with the parity a bit in the NCAA, especially with the March Madness system being, you got to win. You got to win. You can't lose compared to, like,
One and done.
yeah, compared to the NBA. When you're a series, like, you're not going to beat the Warriors You're not going to beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, but you could score 51 points and almost beat them in a game 1, and like that, they just be eliminated, you know? And so it's like a lot higher risk reward when it comes to NCAA, so.
I mean, let's move into how this affects his draft stock. Still number 1.
He plays, doesn't play, he's number 1.
Yeah.
And if nobody takes him at number 1, I will be all over them on Twitter.
No,
very vocal.
Absolutely. Even if he doesn't play, you still got to take him number 1.
If he can walk, you pick him.
Oh, yeah.
You pick that guy.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, he's like this generation, our generation, he's the LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if...
Can't pass that.
I mean, if he went to the Cavs, that'd be pretty boring because they would still suck.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Knicks, unless they get somebody. But, like, if he went to the Suns...
Or the Bulls.
Or the Bulls?
Yeah.
More so the Suns, because they've got two
they have
guys.
Booker,
Yeah, they got Booker and
Yeah.
Ayton, and they got, I mean, I like Oubre.
I like Warren, too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a hell of a 3 to build around.
Yeah.
I mean,
And, like, you're still building because
yeah.
Booker's young. Obviously, Ayton went number 1 last year.
Yeah.
And so, but I think, honestly, if you draft Zion, if you draft someone over Zion, I think it's very easy to regret, you know? Because I just feel like you get Zion, you get tickets, you get seats, and you get people in the seats. That's number 1.
It's kind of like this year with Luka.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think the Suns had to pick Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kings, Bagley's good enough where it won't haunt them, but,
Mhm.
like, it's a, yeah.
He's more, I mean, Luka's definitely more NBA ready than, you know, some of the other guys that got drafted ahead of him, of course. But,
Yeah.
like, I know mid-season or pre-draft and analytics projected Luka to be number 1, and obviously it doesn't work with the Suns, like you said, but, like, he's just NBA ready, you know, he's very ready for the NBA, and, you know, and then you start to think, like, obviously he's a breakout star from the European, I think he played in Spain, in the pros,
Yeah.
but, like, how good is that, how good are those guys compared to the NCAA athletes, you know, and, like, they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually getting paid for it. And obviously, the idea of college basketball has always been around, but, like, you're getting free tuition, but most of these guys aren't really going to school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're playing basketball, that's it. And, like, you're just pushing it back a year to make the money, you know? And so that's why I do think you should probably, at least, I think it hurts a bit to an extent, just letting all these young guys being drafted strictly off potential. But, like, if you get a Zion, Zion, you're drafting him off potential, no doubt. But, like, he's ready. You know, I feel like he's ready just physically.
Like, there's some guys you draft and, like, they could be an all-star in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
you can build around this guy. Zion, I mean, this guy's 6'7", 280.
Yeah.
Can score from pretty much anywhere.
Could jump
Yeah,
from
I mean,
anywhere.
the only flaw really is not a great three-point shooter.
Guess his shoes a little bit.
Yeah.
And the shoes. Needs better shoes.
Yeah, needs better shoes.
But
What happened in Pumas, as Boogie says, but I think, like you said, he can't. But that's something you could develop. You know, you could get him if you got a good organization.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you definitely need, because unfortunately, you look at the Lakers, who you send Julius.
no shooting.
Yeah, you send Julius Randle out, he gets almost double the production that he did with the Lakers. You send D'Angelo Russell out a couple years ago.
All-star.
And he's an all-star now, you know? Like, I mean, if you send it to, and I'm not saying that the Nets are like the best. I think you just need to get a good fit for Zion, and I think he could blossom instantly, you know?
I like him on the Suns. I like him on the... I think Bulls would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the Bulls have sucked for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Suns would be the best. They'd be the most fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all these teams that are going to be in the top 5, they're going to suck.
Yeah.
I think if the KD goes to the Knicks, which I've said in the past,
Yeah.
it'd be dumb as hell. But if he goes to the Knicks and then they get Zion,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 5 years of
Yeah.
deep playoff runs.
Yeah. At least.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't be so mad about the Knicks drafting Zion, because they usually have people just free agent to be like, oh yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go to this terrible franchise just because it's the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
If I was him, I'd want to go to the Suns.
Yeah.
I'd want the Suns to pick me.
Yeah, you mean even though the Suns aren't, there this year, like you
They're
just
not very
feel
well
it.
run.
Yeah, you just feel it though. Like they got players, they got good players. No matter how Ayton's performed this year, I mean he's not doing terrible, but he's not doing great, and it's just like another piece. If you just keep plugging those pieces in, they can't guard them all,
Yeah.
And like I don't hate the Knicks move. I think the KD free agent decision would probably have a lot of impact whenever he figures out where they're going to be drafting. Like, because I think if they get the number 1 pick, I think that instantly makes it a lot more attractive for KD to,
Oh yeah.
let's try to start something here. And I feel like that's what KD kind of wants too, his own. And it doesn't really fit for Zion because I feel like Zion kind of wants his own thing too a bit. But I mean, they could be good.
Why are the Suns so terrible? Every time I look at all of their players, Ayton's double, Booker's 24 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense for the Cavs and the Knicks because they have no talent.
Mm-hmm.
But the Suns have talent.
Oubre and Jackson are both scoring over 10 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's got something to do with just how deep the West is. Like, not just on a talent basis, like all those teams are very, very equal,
These Suns are the absolute dumpster of the West. They have like 11 wins.
Absolutely.
They're like last, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Like 15 games between them and the 15th seed or the 14th seed.
Do you think?
So bad.
Yeah. Do you think the Suns would do better having an Eastern Conference schedule?
They're almost at 50 losses already.
Yeah.
49 losses on the season.
If the Suns were in the East, I think they'd have 20 wins.
Yeah.
They'd still be bad, but
They'd be. I mean, it's almost good that they are in this West and they're like the only bad team in the West because like you just keep getting beaten up on and just keep getting number 1 draft picks, and obviously you like the lottery because it's not like a guaranteed thing, so it kind of limits the tanking for Zion this year.
yeah.
But like because you can't control it 100%. But I mean,
Hey, another fun spot: the Hawks.
the Hawks.
The Hawks, Zion to the Hawks. I mean, then you got Trey,
Yeah.
you got Zion, you got Collins.
He could help them be more consistent in their scoring. We
Yeah.
talked about this earlier. They come out some nights, they'll score 130 points and make it look easy.
Mhm.
And then I think they had a loss earlier in the week. Who was that against? They scored like 80-something points. It just
I think they lost to the Knicks. I think
Really?
that was the
Was
Knicks'
the
first
Knicks?
win in like 2 years.
Well, I think you got some bright spots with Knox at the Knicks.
Yeah, Knox isn't bad.
they scored
Vonleh,
91 points.
I
and
mean,
they
he's
lost to the
gotten
Knicks.
like you just don't have those names like you do with the Suns. You know what I mean? And
They've just missed on so many picks.
Yeah.
Like Ntilikina, bust.
yeah,
Knox, who knows? Porzingis, they traded him.
traded him, gone.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I think, the NBA could rig it like they did with Ewing.
Yeah,
Give him Zion.
yeah.
But
What was it? The frozen envelope or something like that.
they're like, yeah, it's
Speaking
either
of,
frozen or hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of NBA rigging, are we going to talk about, what's his name? The official. What was his
Scott
name?
Foster?
Yeah.
Last
No,
night?
The one that,
Oh, Tim.
yeah, Tim
Donaghy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stand up guy.
Oh, yeah. So,
You know who he is, Will?
Yeah.
Tim Donaghy? Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think any of us. I mean, apparently this just came out, right? That it was certain that he did. I mean,
he
you
fixed,
know,
I
the
think it was
fix the game.
Lakers,
Kings-Lakers
series in
rigged it.
2002, 3.
2002.
And
rigged it.
I don't think that's. I mean, it's good to know that for a fact now, but I don't think that's really surprising to anyone, especially if you look at, I mean, the tapes of the games.
If you go on YouTube and just type in Game 6 Kings-Lakers, rigged.
Absolutely.
The Lakers shot like 20 free throws in the fourth quarter alone, and the Kings shot like 6. And I think C-Webb fouled out, Vlade Divac fouled out. I mean, they had to put in their third string guy. That's like us putting in,
Leaf.
yeah, TJ Leaf. Why don't you go guard Shaq?
Yeah.
Like that's what that is. That's
Yeah.
what that is. So yeah, that's tough. I mean, now that we're
got
talking.
off topic, but one more thing I want to talk about with Zion is
Okay.
it sparked the talk again of does the NCAA need to pay college athletes?
I've never been a fan of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to leave. You know, they're paying for your college. You can go to school if you want. I think it'd be cool if they wanted to go to the draft and they didn't get picked. They could. I think they did this actually. Like they don't get picked, you can come back to school. Did they do that?
I think it's. I think
that's
it's
a proposition right now.
I think they have something in line right now to where if you're a returning, like for example, Juwan Morgan.
Yeah.
You could go to the draft. You could go now. As long as you don't hire an agent, I believe, you could be evaluated by the NBA scouts. You could go to the combine, do everything, and then you got to make a decision. Like, obviously, you're going to get some info. Like, am I going to be drafted? What do you think, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, I like that you don't have to go to all the extent. Like, you could still be evaluated, but still, you know, have the decision to come back, too. And then when paying the college players, you've seen this trend start already. Like, I don't think the NCAA should have to pay these athletes because athletes could go overseas if they're young for a year and get paid.
Go to the G League.
Yeah.
Like this, I think that's a new thing too.
Yeah.
You go straight to the G League, and that's like minor league baseball.
Yeah.
You just work your way up. And
And
if you're a guy like,
I think baseball has the best system, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because straight out of high school, the players get paid.
Yeah.
Right. But like if you go to the G League, say you don't get picked, you go to the G League, and you just dominate. You could be in the league in like 2 years or a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, get your money.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you can prove yourself in the G League, then with the draft, you know, there's always, no matter how good a player is, there's always that mysterious aura. If you can prove yourself in the G League,
So
you know, the team's gonna give you
The
a
G
shot.
League's no joke.
I agree with that. I'm just wondering what is the process if you were like a Zion type player and be like, all right, I'm gonna enter the G League. Do you get? I mean, obviously you're not entering the NBA draft, but how? I mean, what's the process?
You mean like out of high school?
Yeah. So
Okay.
You join the team, and then what? No one gets your rights, obviously, because you're not draft eligible.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you just play a year in the G League if you're a Zion type player, and then just enter the draft?
I mean, if you're gonna do that, why not just go straight to the league?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because the G League's only a step down
Yeah.
from the league.
Yeah.
I think if you're 18 and you're good enough, you should be able to go.
Yeah.
You know, you're an adult.
Yeah.
You should be able to go if you want.
Absolutely.
Because that's their job. That's their career. It's like,
Yeah, basically.
But
It
then,
is.
like, and obviously the NCAA doesn't want the talent plucked out of coming, you know, being pulled from their courts and stuff
Well, that's
like
the
that.
thing. NCAA would lose a bunch of money. Like
Mhm.
if Zion went to the league instead of going to Duke, how much money would they lose? A lot.
A lot.
that's
I
the
mean,
twisted
Like
thing
how much
about-
money did they make off that game alone?
yeah.
The Carolina game. A lot.
That's the thing with the paying college athletes, though. They're making all that money because
Yeah.
of the players there.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're making it. I mean, because Zion's, I mean, obviously we haven't seen anything like Zion. I'd say almost comparable in a couple decades, a decade at least.
He's probably the best prospect since Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
You know, because Blake Griffin was
Yeah, he was huge.
at Oklahoma, yeah.
'Cause,
He
I mean,
was big.
And it's something with I guess it's something with like the super athletic guys that could just like throw it down.
Do
but like,
anything they want.
Jump
Exactly.
over Kia like Blake Griffin did
Yeah.
every year.
We can shift, since we were talking about the Kings, we can shift into, Will, you had a nice tweet.
yeah.
He basically said there are more Eastern Conference teams that can beat the Warriors than there are West teams. And honestly, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I've always been a fan for a little controversial, you know,
Yeah.
getting people
Get
fired up.
some
a
hot
bit.
takes.
Yeah, get some takes going. But like I think there's a truth, an element of truth behind it. You know, I think legitimately in the West, I think the Thunder have a legitimate chance of, you know, taking the series to 7 and then
That's the weird thing. I agree with your tweet,
Mhm.
but the single team I think that poses the most threat to the Warriors is the Thunder,
Mhm.
and I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
It just seems to make sense.
well, I mean, I
in
think
my mind.
Paul George and Russ are
Oh, yeah.
clicking. Almost
Finally.
like almost as good, maybe even better than KD and you know Westbrook clicked. But like, and then you look at like the game last night. I mean, I know playoff Braun has been apparently activated, but like the Lakers had or the Rockets had a 19-point lead in the third quarter, and
Yeah.
you got to win those games. Like, you have to win those games. If you lose one of those games in the playoffs, especially to the Warriors, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And like you saw that in the finals of last year. Like, I'm not saying the Cavs ever had like a legitimate chance to beat the Warriors.
They didn't.
But
Game 1, they blew it.
they blew it in game 1.
Or sorry, J.R. Smith blew it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just it's such a mental downfall seeing that happen. Like, having the chance, and JR blew it. Don't get me wrong, but like, George Hill had a wide open layup. He got fouled, but dude, you had a wide open layup, my guy, and you gotta make. And he didn't make both the free throws, and that, I mean,
he missed the free throw. Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. I think that just does something to a team morally that is just not obviously beneficial. Because I never really thought the Cavs had a chance to win it last year, but right after regulation ended, I knew the series was over.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back in time a little bit, but I was so upset that the Rockets and the Celtics lost.
I didn't watch the series.
I was so upset.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted at least one different team in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched game 1 because I was like, LeBron might go for
I saw the highlights
60
from
tonight.
game 1.
Yeah, and they still lost. He scored 51, I think, and they still lost. So.
Yeah, I think he's the only player in playoff history to score 50 points and lose. So, I mean, that's kind of been LeBron's life, the whole time. But, I mean, you got to win, and just like, especially taking it back to the teams in the East. Like, obviously the Lakers, maybe in a couple years, especially if they get Anthony Davis, they have a chance now. But
could get him this summer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's legitimate, but I don't mean to switch topics here, but would you give up all those young pieces for Anthony Davis this summer when you could wait and possibly get him in free agency a couple years or in another year later?
Well, we know that LeBron is
We'll get to that.
the best LeBron, and this is kind of tying into what you're saying with the young pieces. When LeBron has what he wants around him, Ty Lue, he was like LeBron's tool. Luke Walton is not. So it's going to be a coaching change.
Yeah.
LeBron, if he doesn't like the young players, they're definitely going to leave. He wants Anthony Davis. And LeBron just operates better with the pieces that he wants around him.
Yeah.
So
I think especially with the Anthony Davis, it's more of a future for the Lakers than just championships in the next 4 years. Because like I love Kuzma. But Kuzma's 24 and Anthony Davis is 25. Like, give me Anthony Davis for another 10, 15 years. I'll give you almost anything you want, right? And so, I don't know. I just think I think this year, obviously, the Lakers really don't pose much of a threat. I think they could win a series. I think they could legitimately, if they get in the playoffs and they don't play the Warriors, I think Bron could, go off for a couple of games and win a series.
I think if they play the Nuggets, if they can somehow scrape out the 7th seed and it's still the Nuggets, because if it's the Warriors or the Thunder, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
They can beat the Nuggets.
Go back to your question about the young guys. I think AD handled this so bad. Yeah. So bad. It's like, I have 2 years left on my contract. You need to trade me now. And the Pelicans are like, no, we don't. You got 2 years left. And honestly, I don't think that was the best package that the Pelicans could have got for him. I mean, Celtics have way more to offer.
Yeah. And then, like, it goes along with, like, are you taking a risk being the Celtics? Like, I mean, his dad at least has come out and said he wouldn't want anyone playing. And obviously that's put out there because
LeVar Davis?
Yeah, right. And that's obviously put out there because Anthony wanted to go to the Lakers. I think that's apparent. Like, I think that's something that should be, like, set in stone. Obviously, Anthony wants to go to the Lakers, but, like, you get a rental of Anthony Davis for a year, already being the Celtics. That could beat the Warriors. And then almost, like, if you get a title, and I was thinking about this earlier with, like, the 76ers, like, Jimmy Butler apparently doesn't want to stay, Tobias Harris, he's a wild card. Obviously, if Butler leaves, then he has a better chance of staying. But, like, if you win a title, are you going to leave? And so, I don't know. I think, and, like, bringing it back into the East versus West playoff teams, I think legitimately beating the Warriors in a 7-game series, I think the Raptors could do it.
Me too.
I think I really do think the Raptors could do it, and I think
I just want to see if the Bucks can they actually play in the playoffs.
You'll have to see the Bucks in the playoffs. I think. I mean, just to kind of get a sense, because right now you look at them and you're like, yeah, but they don't have experience in the playoffs. Like, and the Raptors don't have the best experience in the playoffs, but they do have some, especially with Kawhi now. He's won titles, multiple titles.
Dude, people forget. I think people have just forgotten how good that guy is in the playoffs.
I did. Yeah. I was down on him in the offseason. I'm like, they're talking about how good the Raptors are going to be, and I'm calling bullcrap. It's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, before Zaza, messed up Kawhi's ankle, Spurs could have.
They could, and absolutely.
They owned LeBron.
They could have,
and that in
2014.
They were. I think when he went down, I think it was the second half, third quarter. They were up 20 at Golden State, and right when he went down, I'm like,
it's over.
They're gonna lose the series. They're gonna lose the series.
They wouldn't have got swept. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know if they would beat him. If they would have beat him,
they win game 1 with Kawhi. There's no doubt about it. They win game 1, and that's like so big. That switches the home field or the home court.
Yeah.
And especially in the NBA, I think teams do play a lot better at home, and so, it's kind of up in the air though when it comes to like who could actually beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, nobody's gonna beat them.
Yeah.
Right, but. I think
there's only 3 teams, but 2 of them happen to be in the East.
Yeah.
In the West, definitely, the Thunder have the best chance.
Absolutely.
I love the matchups. Mm-hmm. Like Adams on Cousins, love that.
Love it.
Because Adams won't take shit from anybody. Markieff, dude, he's another guy. Like, he's just going to come in and throw some bodies around. I like Jeremy Grant on Draymond. Mm-hmm. That could be a tough one for Draymond. Draymond's not so much of a threat on offense, but... it's just a body to put on.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster right now. I like, Westbrook on Curry. That's always been a good matchup.
Yeah, and then Paul George,
he has to be on Durant.
Yeah, I mean,
KD, and then Clay. It's like, who do you put on Clay?
That's like the wild card, and that's why the Warriors are so good, Because you could have
these... one guy off, goes to the next.
Looking at the
just keeps going.
I mean, looking at the roster, it would have to be Ferguson.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the ball to Clay every time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you switch. I don't know. Maybe you can switch it up, put PG on Clay, put Grant on KD, just because Grant's he's a little longer. Yeah. So, but Adams is always giving the Warriors problems.
Yeah.
I mean, back when the Thunder should have beat him when KD was there, Adams was like the MVP of that series until they lost. So,
did you guys see how the Thunder used Nerlens on Valentine's Day right before the break? They let him shoot the ball 16 times.
Wow.
He had 10 of them, 22 points, and that was in 22 minutes. 13 rebounds.
Well, I think Nerlens. Who's their backup center? Looney.
Mm-hmm.
Nerlens wins that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Schroeder is better than Quinn Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Like on a bench, I think the Thunder are pretty good.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you beat the Warriors in
it's just
two
that
ways.
Clay matchup.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna guard that guy?
And you've seen this, especially as we're getting closer to the playoffs, where you're trying to kind of figure out that formula. They've really, really been letting Draymond shoot. They really have. They're giving him anything he wants, almost. And, you got to. Because you don't want it in the hands of Clay. You don't want it in Steph. If you're going to have anyone take a wide-open three-pointer,
Draymond.
Please give it to Draymond. And, they're almost baiting him. And it's terrible because that just shows how good the Warriors are. You're willing to give up a wide-open three just so none of the other guys shoot. Because even if he makes it, if Draymond shoots the ball, I think you could check that up as a one possession.
Yeah.
I just don't think with Paul George, if he handles Durant, he can't do, because I've seen him kind of stretch between two people before, but that is a huge assignment, Durant and somebody else,
and
especially one as good as Clay.
The only way OKC can win this is if PG's playing like he is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He can't come out and do...
He can't shit the bed like he has.
Yeah, playoff P last year. I mean, they
good
were
in game one.
You guys don't know playoff P. And then
playoff Ingles.
This is how he was supposed to be before he got injured. this is what Paul George is supposed to turn into, the MVP caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I'm back to liking Paul George.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean,
I wish this would have happened here.
Yeah,
Because he shut his mouth and he's playing at that level. It's just
and he was, especially as a Pacers, and I don't know if this was just because the Pacers aren't regarded in the national spotlight as the Thunder were, but he was almost a diva a bit, would you say, here at Indiana, and like his mindset in under a year, just a full year of basketball's completely switched to like.
I really started to not like him. That first year he came back healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we started out pretty good.
Missing.
We started out pretty good, but like West was gone,
Mm-hmm.
Lance was gone, those guys were gone, and then when he said the next year, when CJ Miles missed that shot against the Cavs, and he was like, I got to get that shot. It's like, what are you talking about?
Never. He
He's wide open.
didn't make any game-winning shots until this year.
That's the best shot we were gonna get.
Yeah,
He
the
was
only
wide
time-
open.
The only game winner you've made was in the Gatorade commercial.
Yeah,
So
that
I don't.
was such a meme for so long.
Especially, it's like after like I gotta get that shot. I'm like, Paul,
Smooth.
maybe prove that you earned the shot.
And then he got the shot in Game 4.
yeah, and just
Absolute definition of brick.
bricked it, and like. I guess, I don't know, something has majorly just switched in his head because...
I think I'm back to liking him.
Yeah.
He made a shot. We were talking about clutch shots. I remember he made one earlier in the season, and we were kind of talking about, so this was a fluke, and then he like exploded, and he's now averaging like 30 points and almost 10 rebounds.
And I think, are you talking about the shot at the Nets?
I can't remember
I
the
think
game
he was
exactly.
playing, and it was like a pump fake where, well, at least the Nets game, it was the first buzzer beater, whatever, game, big-time shot, and... Like, I feel like normally he got the ball and he was patient enough to pump fake and send the guy by him. And so he just pulled up. Like, and I feel like in Indiana, he would have felt a bit, I don't know if it's because who he's surrounded by or whatever. I just feel like he would have been pressured just to get the shot up, And I feel like his mindset, and that kind of proves that his mindset is just completely,
And the thing about this whole run of him playing really good, he has low-key kind of had to do this.
Yeah.
Because Russ is getting the triple-doubles, right? But he can't shoot.
Russ can't shoot.
He can't shoot.
This year.
Where else is the offense going to come from?
Yeah.
Besides Adams.
Yeah, Adams got 15.
Adams will get you 15.
Schroeder.
15 and 10.
Adams is like...
Just solid.
I think without Adams, I don't think they beat the Warriors. I think Adams is essential, big time.
So good in the pick and roll, dude.
Yeah.
For years, him and Russ.
And defensively, too. He just clogs everything
just
up.
Doesn't take any crap.
Yeah.
Just comes in. He's just a banger down there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got.
I'll tell you the team in the East that everyone's talking about not going to do anything is the 76ers. Because everyone's like, they have the second best.
Let's talk about the East. Yeah.
They have the second best lineup next to the Warriors. And I'm like, okay, true. So you get to the 76ers, their starting lineup. And then you walk about 2 or 3 miles and there's the Warriors starting five. They have 5 All-Stars.
Yeah.
The 76ers have, 3 All-Stars?
And
Boban's there now. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
He looked great. But there's no bench.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely no bench.
And you need a bench to beat. I feel like you need a bench to beat the Warriors, especially. And I think you like the 76ers because they're big.
They got 2 great players.
Yeah, and they could be physical with the Warriors. I think they could match physicality with the Warriors. But then, like, it's almost, is their starting 5 better than the Warriors starting 5? And
Not even
no,
close.
it's not. And then you look to the second thing, like, all right, can they get some bench points? And like, no, I feel like you can't really.
Thunder have the best chance in the West to beat them. I think overall Raptors have the best chance.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're so deep.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, people forget how good Kawhi is in the playoffs and how good he is just period.
And now they got Marc Gasol coming off the bench.
That is huge.
That is huge.
I mean, that's such an upgrade from Valanciunas. It's not even funny. And plus, Siakam.
Siakam's been going off this
You
year.
can throw Siakam at Durant. I mean, he's probably not going to do much on him, but it's just a big body to throw on him.
Yeah.
What about
like-
Boston?
I think I put Boston ahead of Philly because Philly can't beat Boston. They've proven that
Yeah.
time and again. They can't beat them.
I agree. I think you put Philly. I think there's a tier, and
I think Philly's 4th
Yeah.
in the East.
I think there's a tier.
Pacers 5th.
Couple tiers where you have to look. Like, obviously, we don't really know what the Bucks are going to do in the playoffs. But if they are playing to the level that they are now, I think they're on that first tier of East teams with the Raptors and the Bucks. Just the Raptors and the Bucks, I feel like have, as close to a legitimate shot to being the Warriors as possible, I guess.
Especially if the Bucks get home court.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the Raptors.
Mhm.
Like,
It's gonna be one of those two that has.
yeah. I think the Warriors just got 40 wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have like 42. But the Bucks, they have like 43.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
So
Bucks-
Raptors are right behind them.
The Bucks have 44, the Warriors have 42, and Toronto has 43. And so
Those are the only 40-win teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Denver
Nuggets-
has 39.
yeah.
Okay.
Pacers have 38. Like, that's nuts.
Pacers haven't moved in the
The-
standings
I
since
think the
Vic went
Pacers,
down.
though, these next couple weeks,
Could
they
make
don't
things
play
interesting.
anyone with a record above 500. But then
Yeah.
after that, they're oh my god, it's
Yeah,
just brutal.
It's a gauntlet. I mean, the
So-
Pacers aren't going to fall any lower than 5th.
No,
Mm.
There's such a gap from
And if they,
5 to 6.
if it's lined up as they are now, I think they could. I think they could take Brooklyn in a 7-game series.
I think so.
And then, obviously you're gonna have to play, one of the top level teams, and especially without Oladipo. Don't get me wrong, the Pacers are molded to where losing Oladipo is not that big of a, detriment. But then when you get to the playoff and you get
takes
to
away
those levels,
the playoff contender factor.
yeah, it does.
The biggest thing they miss is somebody to go to in a close game.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
So it's
you
not
could always
Tyreek.
go to him.
Mhm.
No, God, no, fuck, no. It's not Tyreek. Maybe Boyan.
If he's
Probably
having
the
a hot
best
night,
bet.
I would definitely that'd be the first option.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And he's been doing good.
he's been doing great.
Mm-hmm. And so here's my question: would you take? Probably forget about the injury because that doesn't help at all. The trade happens now. Would you take Paul George back for Victor Oladipo and Sabonis?
I don't know.
I'll say no because I think the Pacers' future is brighter than
Yeah.
the Thunder.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Thunder's window here
Yeah.
is like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, because Russ.
One, I don't think Paul George wants to come back.
I can see Russ's body breaking down,
Mm-hmm.
and Paul George can't be the guy.
Yeah, and
You
Russ
know.
can't shoot, and
That was
so
the
when
other
his
big
body
thing.
breaks down, he's just
Yeah.
gonna go downhill pretty quickly, unfortunately. So
But interesting here, KD goes back to the Thunder.
Yeah, that's two small forwards.
Then you've got,
Threes.
I don't know the cap space though if they can do it. They
Yeah.
probably have to get rid of Paul.
yeah,
Which, I mean, KD and Paul, who are you gonna take?
right.
And then if that happens, you know where Paul George's going.
LA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
LA, baby.
yeah.
But I think that's the only way KD can redeem himself
Mm-hmm.
if he goes back there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually wins the title that way instead of jumping onto
I don't even know if he has to win a
a
title.
mega team.
Like, if
Yeah.
he just goes back, that might be enough. But I don't know. Hopefully, this is the last year of. It's a foregone conclusion. The Warriors are
I
going to be in
hope
the
so.
finals.
I think so. I think there's too many X factors at the end of the season. Especially with.
So I think KD's gone
Yeah,
for sure.
and obviously if KD goes, then they're going to give Clay the max.
They
Which
have
is
to.
Clay wants the max. He's already said that, and so he's almost putting the Warriors in a position like if KD wants to come back,
It's me or KD.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's already not something that you want in the air.
No.
That's not a good thing on your franchise.
No.
Like, I'd like to keep both of you, keep winning titles. But then, how many years is Boogie there? How many years did he sign on his deal?
Just one.
Just 1 year
For
deal?
like $6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And, he did. He signed for the minimum, didn't
Yeah.
he? That's nuts. I don't even want to get started on that again.
but I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Boogie's gone. Once he gets his ring, he's gone. So, let's see what else we got. Lakers? Yeah, let's talk Lakers. I know he's in playoff mode, but I don't know if it's enough. This team is pretty bad.
We
Yeah.
have a very small sample size of what
Yeah.
to judge.
Yeah.
And they beat the Rockets. That was their big
Last night, yeah.
And I think
big win.
It's a big win.
I think Reggie Bullock helps him out a lot. Like, he hit the shot last night that was a big shot. You know, Bron hasn't had anyone, especially on the Lakers, other than Josh Hart maybe, but he's just not as consistent as you'd like to. All right, I'm driving in. Who am I going to kick it out to? Reggie's right wide open on the 3-point line. He's going to hit that shot. And, like, obviously, Bron has been better surrounded by shooters. And as he's getting older, he's going to have to rely on that a bit more, you know, his passing game. And so, like you said, we really don't have that much of a gauge to see what they could possibly do. They've been hurt by injuries a lot this year. And I think they're finally getting everyone together kind of after the break. And, you know, we'll see. I
think once Lonzo comes back, their defense will get better.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers are going to get back in. I'm looking.
Is he going to make it? Because the Clippers are slipping out. I mean, come on.
The Clippers are gone. The Clippers are gone.
They traded their best player.
It's just the Kings, and like we were talking about, if it comes down to Lakers and the Kings, there is no way that LeBron's going to get kicked out of the
league has
playoffs.
no problem screwing the Kings over. But it's just weird because if you look at the Kings roster and the Lakers roster next to each other, the Kings have the better roster.
Yeah. Because
but it's
they have
LeBron.
Kuz and Ingram.
And here's the thing, like they have. If you look back to this time in the season every year, there's always the question like, maybe last year is Bron going to be able to make the playoffs like it is this year, but is he going to be able to make the finals? You know, like they didn't think he was going to be able to make the finals last year.
He's not making the finals this year.
There's no doubt There's no doubt about it. But I think, like I said, I think if you make it to the playoffs and you get a win, if you win a series, I think it's a successful year for the Lakers. So
I was thinking the other day, like the last time LeBron wasn't in the finals, I was in 6th grade.
Yeah. 2010? Because it
was
the
yeah,
Thunder.
2010. It was the Mavs first.
Okay, the Mavs and then the Thunder.
Spurs twice.
And the Spurs twice.
And Warriors.
And the Warriors the rest of the way.
But, I mean, damn. That's like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a lot changed.
Wait, what was I doing in 6th grade?
I don't know.
LeBron wasn't in the finals.
I would have been, what, in 4th?
I was
I'm
12.
A little bit younger, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have grown up too. I started watching NBA basketball probably heavily, like seriously heavily, like following the playoffs at least, probably since the Heat Thunder playoffs. You know, and like just ever since then, how much time has passed, and it's just LeBron's been there every single year. So
you know what else is amazing about LeBron being there, and I think we talked earlier. That series where the Spurs beat LeBron's Heat 5-1,
destroyed him.
That was the end of a type of play in the NBA. Mm-hmm. The era of basketball between
literally the year after.
It went to this the Warriors system.
Spread
that was
the floor,
system.
3-pointers.
And LeBron has been in the finals every year through that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the NBA, the way to win has completely changed. LeBron's been there through the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's the thing about it. I mean, I don't want to get into the GOAT thing right now.
Yeah.
But
it's like
to me, he's second.
Yeah. He's up there. He's in the talk with Jordan. I think he's the only player that can actually seriously talk about it.
It used to be like you can't even have a discussion, but now you can have an argument.
Legitimately, I think.
But I still think MJ's the best. And I still think it's a pretty wide margin just because the 6 rings.
Yeah.
Come on. And when MJ played, basketball was a contact sport.
Yeah.
You can't go in the lane.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know,
But we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
That's like a whole episode we can do that.
We could do a whole we could do a...
But let's remember, both of those players just freaking destroyed the Pacers' chances.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
it's like you were saying, the past 30
For 30
years.
years, we've had the best player in the division, in the league, in that division, because it was
MJ.
Michael Jordan, and then there was a little gap.
Yeah.
Where
and then
Kobe
the
made
Pacers were in. Yeah,
Kobe
the Pacers
and Duncan,
were in the final right then. Mm-hmm. What happened? Then LeBron.
Yeah, and he's been there since.
And then, so what I've been saying is Zion is going to go to someone in the Central Division, and that's going to be the next best player in the league right there. Right now, Giannis is there. I'm like, just can't catch a break.
But I wanted to bring this up. Is LeBron still the best player in the league?
don't know. It's just there's so many players that are just insane. What
The
Harden's
league
been
is
doing.
so hot right now.
I
The
know.
league's very hot. I'll give you that. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot
Kawhi,
of excitement.
There's
Yeah.
Giannis. There's multiple players on the Warriors.
I think
James
right
Harden?
now.
Yeah.
I think
James
right
Harden.
now LeBron's probably not the best player in the league.
No.
I think that'll change.
Who is?
And there we go. There we go.
Stop.
Like offensively, like James Harden's been a stud, just an absolute stud.
Well, go ahead and
he's
explain why LeBron's not the best.
Okay, well, I think LeBron at this point has gotten so good at, managing his play to just, kind of burst in the playoffs a bit, just keeping his energy level. I think playoff LeBron is probably the best player in the league, honestly.
No doubt about it.
I think playoff LeBron is the best player in the league, but
Can win games by himself.
he just understands now, like, he's not going for the MVPs anymore. Like, he's lost a couple that he shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
So, and that obviously had effect on him earlier in his career, but now he knows what it takes. Because he's been there for so long, he knows exactly, and it's gotten closer and closer each year to, coming off, but every single year he's still there,
I just don't know if I can. I still think LeBron is the best.
So think he's the best.
I just can't not say that because part of the scare factor of LeBron is, and it's just continued with this season, and kind of what you were saying, when he kind of preserves his energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can tell he's not giving his all tonight. He still has, 20 points and 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
So then when he puts his all in, he's going to score 40 points and have a double-double.
Like, this isn't talked about so much, but his statistics in the playoffs are,
Insane. Absolutely.
He's
nuts.
like the all-time playoff
Oh, yeah.
scoring leader by a lot now.
Yeah.
Like by 1,000.
I mean, that's
No.
just because, honestly, average is what? I don't know the exact numbers, but I
Gotta
want
be
to say
30.
he's over 30.
It is over 30.
Over
No
30 in
doubt
the
about
playoff,
it.
and that's nuts, man. Obviously the great players like Jordan's playoff
Larry Bird.
numbers went up. Yeah, Larry's numbers went up. I think on a efficiency basis, I think Kobe did a bit better in the playoffs.
And you think about the thing with Jordan
Oh, yeah, Kobe. Yeah.
and LeBron, classic playoff moments. Jordan has 7 more than LeBron does.
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's just LeBron always plays at such a solid.
Yeah.
I think the defining LeBron playoffs was when he led the comeback against the Warriors.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
block.
going to be what he's remembered for.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Jordan,
gonna be
you
the
have
shot,
your
yeah.
choice of playoff moments to choose from with him. I think the one for me is that shot against the Jazz, just because it was kind of
Mhm.
His last thing.
yeah. But that's the other thing. It's just
Yeah. In the playoffs, LeBron is his career average in the playoffs, 28.9.
Okay.
With 8.9 rebounds, 7 assists.
crazy.
So I thought it'd be 30. But
Yeah. I think last year he just had that peak of
last year he averaged 34.
yeah, that's
He single-handedly
and he averaged 34
And he's 33.
and
33 years old.
and he's also distributing the ball so much, He's and that's the thing with LeBron, he's going to be probably NBA's all-time leading scorer, and he's not really a scorer. He distributes it so much, and that's why obviously I think he's coming down off his peak. There's no way he could flip a switch and go to what he did last year. I just feel like that's insane. But I think his downhill is not going to be as, terrible as some of the other players that relied on the scoring, that relied on being able to create their own shot, because LeBron's always been able to find that last pass, So.
What was I going to say here? He's in the Mavs finals, he didn't do too hot. He averaged 17 points. But he still averaged 24 for the playoffs. So he's never averaged under 23.7 in the playoffs. And the first time he was ever in the playoffs, he averaged almost 31. And, yeah, dude's the best player in my lifetime.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I don't think there's any debate about that.
No. I guess you could argue Kobe, but from what I've seen, LeBron.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the people that, Kobe had Shaq, and that's kind of, I'm not going to say that's how he won his first 3 titles, but that helps.
Couldn't have won them without Shaq.
Yeah, and I don't think Bron could have won without D Wade and Chris Bosh either, especially those initial ones. However, there was no doubt, even though D Wade had been the guy in Miami, that once LeBron came, he was the guy. Like, for that first year, I think there was like, oh, is it Wade's team or is it LeBron's team? After the Mavericks series, it was LeBron's. And, like, he won those titles. And so, but, I mean, moving forward, do you think he could grab another title before he leaves? Before he's done?
I don't think so.
Not unless he goes to a team with some other elite scorer. But then, at the same time, I just said earlier, he has to have the players that he likes, so it's got to be someone, which potentially brings up to Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I think Anthony Davis is a pretty good fit for the Lakers.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Anthony Davis, with the pieces that you have right now, I mean, that's a legitimate contender, I'd say. But if you lose any of those pieces, I just don't think AD and Bron could do it by themselves, especially where Bron is in the point of his career. Obviously, you can't expect him to go out throughout the rest of his career without another injury because, I mean, your body's going to deteriorate a bit.
He's already had one this year.
Yeah. And that was the most significant one of his career so far, right? So
yeah.
And it didn't even...
I mean, he had those back problems
when
he came back to Cleveland, but this was
And I think I mean, it's just a weird situation because even after LeBron left that game, like, the Warriors just still couldn't do anything. And if you get a couple games where the Warriors can't do much and you sneak one out and you just beat them in a close one, then
Rockets almost did it last year.
Yeah.
They probably. I mean, this is a whole different thing. Rockets would have beat them if CP3 didn't get hurt.
And
they would have.
Yeah, and like the Warriors have that every year, you know. I mean, no one's denying how great they are.
They've gotten some breaks.
But they have. They really have. They've gotten some breaks, whereas, I mean, if it was in the first title with Kyrie and Kevin Love, the second year they didn't actually win. So, and then the year before that, or the year after that, it was the Kawhi situation, and then Chris Paul, like, I think you could make a legitimate, not a complete argument. I don't think you could base it on that because
luck is on their side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And also, the first one they won, remember the Clippers blew that lead against the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers could have.
Sounds weird.
I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
The Clippers were damn good that year.
Yeah.
They matched up really well with the Warriors. That was kind of like a little rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Rockets lost in 5. Yeah. Chris Paul's the key. And also, I don't think Kawhi's going to the Lakers because if the Raptors get to the finals, which I think they will, and say they push it to like 6 or something, why would you leave?
Why? Yeah, absolutely. Unless you're, I mean, I think Marc Gasol just like.
It's a whole new element.
Yeah, I already thought the Raptors had a pretty good chance. Like, I mean, I feel like before they got Gasol, it was like kind of still in the air, but I just feel like right now the Raptors are the best team in the East. So
yeah, I mean, I watched that Bucks Celtics game last night, and the Bucks looked really good. I mean, and the amazing thing about Giannis is, dude puts up 30, doesn't make a single jump shot.
Yeah.
Like, how good would he be if he could make any kind of jump shot? Yeah. If it was just even a threat.
Yeah.
Like, dude would be, he's already unstoppable, but he would be unbelievable.
And I think he's in a pretty good system as well.
Yeah.
I think they play him,
I like
very effectively.
Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Dude's good.
And he's got pieces around him. Like, he's got... The Bucks are a weird team, but I think they're pretty good, you know?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
And then you'll just have to see in the playoffs, like, can they keep it up? Because I think, the Celtics right now are a bit dysfunctional, yeah. But, like, I think you'll see an increase in play in the playoffs from the Celtics. I'm not saying they win a series. They might. I could see them winning a series. I'm not saying they win the next one. But I think you could at least expect them to play a little bit better than they are right now. And whereas when you see the Bucks, like, you just don't know, you know, because they haven't. Especially last year. I mean, they had who they play, the Sixers?
The Bucks?
Yeah,
they lost to the Celtics.
The Celtics.
First round.
But it was a good round, wasn't it, right?
7 games.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, it's tough. And then that's just the parity in the East this year. Like, the teams last year, like the Celtics, the Bucks should have easily beat them and then could have gone to the Eastern Conference Finals. But now that Braun's left, I feel like the idea of how to win a championship has switched to get to the East right now because it's almost a free path to the finals. And then once you get in the finals, anything can happen. Obviously being the Warriors is not expected, but maybe the Warriors get unlucky. Someone gets injured. Never wish that, but like that's just things that could happen.
I think the year that the Warriors lost, Steph kept slipping all over the place, so he was banged up.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else too, but that was the one year that they didn't have absolute luck on their side.
Yeah, Draymond
got suspended.
Yeah.
I knew there was something.
And I think Bogut was hurt.
Yeah.
I think he was hurt.
And now I think that's big. I think that's big too because LeBron, not very good against shot blockers, not very good against big guys, and I think
Big Roy.
Yeah.
Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert, the Bron stopper for what?
5 minutes.
Exactly. Just like playoff PE was a thing for about 5 minutes too. But playoff Joe Ingles, playoff Joe Ingles comes out for Utah.
Playoff Joe Ingles is a thing.
No, it is. It definitely is. Like defensively too. I mean, he played pretty well, and I mean, I think the Thunders wouldn't be surprised to see the Jazz come out and give it to the Thunder again. I obviously don't think that they'd beat them because the Thunder have obviously figured out a little bit more of what's going on this year, but still.
Hey, I'm just gonna say this: Melo leaves, and you instantly get better.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, right.
He's still unsigned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Nobody's signing that guy.
Yeah.
No. There's all these talks, and I'm like, people, what's wrong with you?
I mean, he picked up $20 million from the Rockets bounce. Spent, 10 minutes as a member of the Hawks.
And
got
the
another
Bulls.
$20 million bounce, so, oh my God.
Let's do this. Who's going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Okay.
Noah, why don't we start with you? Who's going to be there?
I think it's got to be 1 and 2 right now. The Bucks Raptors, I just don't.
Do you think the Raptors get the 1, or does it stay like it is? I think it stays like it is.
I think it stays like it is, but I think the Raptors are going to come out of it, even going into Milwaukee 4 times instead of 3. I think it's. I have no doubt in my mind if it's those 2, it's going to 7 games, and it's going to be very, very entertaining.
Yeah, well.
There's going to be some classic, there's going to be some Kawhi games, You're just like, and that's how that's going to be. I just don't think the Pacers, obviously, they can't do it. That's just not.
If they keep this 3 seed and get past the Nets, that'd be good enough for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 76ers, if the Bucks or the Raptors, if something happens to either one of them, I think it's going to be the 76ers. And I just don't know about the Celtics. I think it's the same with them, too.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure it's the Bucks and the Raptors.
Will, what do you think?
I think Toronto's going to get the 1 seed locked down by the end of the year.
It's going to be a fun race to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think if I had to make a prediction right now, I'd probably say Toronto and Boston. That's just the thing. Boston's playing so bad. I mean, not bad, right? But they can't get anything together. But
they played bad last night and they almost beat the Bucks.
Yeah,
if they just would have done that outlet to Horford.
Yeah,
dude is wide open.
I feel like Brad Stevens could get something figured out. Obviously, there's the talk about Brad Stevens being a better coach when you don't have those players that stand out and want the ISO ball and stuff like that. Because Brad Stevens as a coach is a good coach.
Yeah.
That could get the ball, moving around and stuff like that. But, I think in the playoffs, I think we could see something else from Boston that, they don't have the urgency to do in the regular season at least,
Okay, I'm going to say Raptors, Celtics. But the Celtics are going to have to go, if they end the season, I'll feel more confident about this.
Yeah.
If the Celtics go, if they rip off 8 out of 10 to end the season, come in hot, and they get the 3rd seed, I'll like that because they can't beat. I mean, the Sixers can't beat them. I like how they match up against pretty much anyone except the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Just because the Raptors can match them in depth, too,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you look, I mean, Milwaukee as a program is obviously good. They have some depth, but
I think Mirotic
Philly
will be
has
big for them.
nothing. I feel like Philly has no
Empty, it's
depth.
barren.
Yeah.
You look at the bench. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. Like, who is it? McConnell?
I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you.
I mean, Marjanovic is good.
Mhm.
Boban's good. I know
Mhm.
people make fun of that guy, but
Yeah, I mean
he's actually good.
He's huge.
Yeah.
You know, and that
He's
affects the
playable.
game. Yeah, he really is.
You can play him
Yeah.
like 15
My
minutes.
prediction is just hinging on the Bucks, like we talked about, are actually going to perform
Mhm.
in the playoffs. But yeah,
Which I mean I wouldn't be surprised to see. Like I don't know, and it's something to do with like the way the NBA has been the past couple of years, to where, especially with Bron, like I don't really think, I look at the roster and I'm like, is this a finals team? But like until he proves me wrong, I'm just not gonna doubt LeBron. Okay, so
Who's in the West? West Finals.
I think we should just put the Warriors in there right now.
Warriors of
So
course.
who's the other team?
That goes without saying.
Yeah, I think the Thunder are the other team.
Me too.
If the Thunder could
If Paul
stay-
George doesn't choke,
Yeah.
if Paul
that's
George
the
doesn't
X
choke.
factor.
And
if the Thunder could keep the 3rd seed and face Denver, because it's going to be the 1 and 4, right, and then the 2 and 3 playing.
Right.
I think. I mean, they're only 2 games ahead of Portland, and like that's a surprise. Like the Portland Trailblazers are 4th in the Western
they just never
Conference.
get talked about.
It's just like last year. Well,
Yeah.
they got swept last year.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Until you prove it in the playoffs, you just can't give them any credit. I guess like.
it's kind of the issue with the Bucks, but I'm pretty sure the Bucks this year are going to perform.
Yeah.
But no, the Trailblazers will probably drop off. It's not even probably. It's more of a will.
Because who would the Blazers play right now? The Spurs?
Yeah.
Whoever the
they
six
play the
is.
Rockets.
They play the. They play the Rockets right now. I think.
They'll lose that.
That's an L.
Yeah.
I mean, Capella? I like Capella against Nurkic all day, and
Absolutely.
Cantor.
And like.
CP3 Dame, that's a good matchup. But like McCollum on Harden,
Yeah.
or Aminu on Harden. Come on,
Yeah.
come on. Evan Turner.
Yeah. And then like you got all these teams in the West that like legitimately could probably make their way to the finals, Western Conference Finals, and then just get beat by the Warriors.
I think Denver could get
Yeah.
to the conference finals, but I think they get swept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're a good team, and when you play the Warriors, there's always a chance you're going to get swept, but they have the best chance to get swept, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing with the Thunder. I just don't think there's a chance they get swept if they play the Warriors. They're going to get at least a game
Yeah.
in there.
I think if there's any team that could make it a series, it's probably the Thunder, and that's what I'd like to see. Probably. I don't know if you could expect that just because with the playoffs being so crazy, and they could probably match up like all these teams. Here's the thing: if you match up with Golden State in like on the second round, then you're not making it to the Western Conference Finals. No matter how good of a team you are, you're just not gonna beat. I just can't see anyone beating Golden State.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, we can sit here and talk about it, but it's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
I don't know why this is
If it
coming
does,
over
I would
me.
be. If it does, I'll drop out of college. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
That's a lot to well, Zach
I also
has
said
this
that
with the
about,
Knicks, if they sign.
Yeah, I said if
Uh,
KD goes to the Knicks, I'll drop out of college. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got two
Maybe he
things
wants to
talk
drop
about
I'm
that.
putting my education on the line.
now.
But I don't know what's coming over me, but I'm starting to get high on the Lakers. Don't know why. And I've been about where you are. I'm like, they're not even gonna make the playoffs.
I've been ragging them, yeah.
If they can avoid getting the A seed, they still get into the playoffs. If they get the A seed, they're gonna lose to Warriors first round. But if LeBron can get it going in the playoffs, if he can kind of win this battle with Father Time this year.
Yeah.
Here, you guys keep going. I gotta take a leak.
Okay.
Yeah, can the Lakers get to the finals if LeBron turns into playoff LeBron again,
Absolutely.
and then win a game? Because that makes sense in my mind, because he did it with the Cleveland team that's undoubtedly worse than a Lakers.
Absolutely. And like people do rag on the Lakers team this year too, but like they sneak. I mean, obviously you
They
got to
sneak
get the
in.
7. You got to get the 7. You're not even shooting for the 8 seed anymore.
No.
If you get the 7, then it sets yourself up for a matchup if you just keep winning the series.
With the Nuggets.
Yeah, so you beat the Nuggets right now, and then you play the winner of OKC and Utah. And like obviously we're saying we think OKC is probably going to win that series, but just never doubt playoff LeBron. And I think like you mentioned, I think have the. I think the Lakers should definitely beat the Thunder, but I still think as on a matchup basis, if they get to the finals, they'll still get swept by the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
They'll still get swept by the Warriors. So
It's just I look at the Nuggets roster. I'm like, why are they so good? They have the Joker, but I mean
Murray's going off. I mean, I think they complement each other pretty well. Being like a kind of inside scorer with
Harris, who's been injured.
Yeah.
I just
Millsap's not a terrible player. He's just getting old, a bit. Beasley's been playing pretty well this year. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't played, but I mean, you can't forget that he's on that team. Isaiah Thomas. I mean, they got names, just can they keep it together throughout the rest of the regular season and then playoffs. So.
Because I'm not meaning to disrespect the Nuggets, but we're talking about them getting swept. I just don't feel like they. If they play a team like the Warriors, they're not going to win a game.
No, they're not going to win. I agree, especially.
They just don't scare me like that.
Yeah, and there's a feeling you get with these teams, and I think it has something to do with experience as well.
Yeah.
But, you need star power. You need star power in the playoffs. You need those guys that, are on another tier to do their thing. And I just don't know how much star power that you have with the Nuggets. So.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Jokic is a phenomenal player, and Jamal Murray has been playing pretty well this year as well. But, those guys just don't have any experience, in the playoffs when, you stop getting those fouls, and that's something that hurts the Rockets a bit too. You stop getting those kind of foul calls, especially near the end of the game, and where it's just free throws, and you got to battle through some stuff that it's not a different game, but it's definitely a different atmosphere in the playoffs. So,
who's getting that 8th spot in the West? I'm saying Sacktown. Sacktown's getting it.
I'm pretty sure the Clippers are going to fall out.
Yeah, we said that, yeah.
I think
if the Lakers get in, though, then Sacramento's not going to make it. So, and we agreed if the Lakers get in, they're going to have to push for the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Because if they have to play the Warriors in the first round, it's over.
That's an L.
Yeah, and so, you're honestly not even trying to get in this point. The Lakers are currently 4 games behind the Suns. Or not the Suns, but the Spurs.
And the Jazz, who are just ahead of the Spurs.
Yeah, and so you got a lot of I think you got a lot of area in those last 4 seeds for some discrepancy whenever it comes down to the line. But I think we're really gonna have some exciting regular season basketball at the end of the year this year, and that's something that
the West.
Yeah, it is. There's so many good teams just in the West, and when you got. I mean, you got four teams in the East that have won under 20 games, and then you got Memphis, who isn't really being talked about, with a 23-win team, and then obviously in the West the Suns are at 11. But other than that, all these teams, the Pelicans, I mean, depending on how much they play Anthony Davis, if they get hot, Dallas has 26 wins, Minnesota has 27. All these teams are capable of. I mean, they got to get hot at the end of the year, right? But they can make it a fun end of the regular season.
The only one I think can make a run is the Mavericks. They're 2.5 games behind the Lakers, who we're talking about.
I like that.
But then they're 4 games back from the Clippers, who have the 8th. But then the Timberwolves are only... Wait, no. They're 5 games back. Excuse my mistake, from the Clippers. The Mavericks are... And the Timberwolves are 4 games behind the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. You look at the Grizzlies, 23 wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put them in the East. They're 3 games out of a spot.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fighting.
It's just the Suns that
Yeah.
are terrible in the West.
Yeah, the Suns are just bottom feeders, dude.
They're the worst team in the league.
16 losses in a row.
That's nuts. How do you? I mean, honestly. How do
I mean,
you
I
lose
rag on the
16
Knicks,
in a row?
but damn. Suns are right there.
They got the players too.
With Booker, how do you lose 16 straight with
Booker
and Booker?
Absolutely, I don't. And it's that. I mean, obviously the personalities of these guys are.
It has to be mismanagement.
Yeah, you know, like they obviously aren't gelling like as they should be at least, but like especially with such a young team, you want to see something, you know, and that's not 16 straight losses.
I thought they would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not this bad.
Yeah, you
But I thought they'd be fun to watch. They're not even fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. They're not even fun to watch. I mean, that's when you know you're bad. Some bad teams are fun to watch. They're not. They're painful to watch.
You hear about how many scores they have. Most of these games are absolute blowouts. They have like 4 or 5 and 16 that are decided by 5 or less. But if they're not losing by less than 5, they're getting absolutely torn apart. They lost to the Pacers by, what was that, 34? 5?
A fair amount.
34?
Let's see. That was a while back.
Yes, it was. That was
131 to 97.
That was the beginning of the losing streak.
34.
Yeah. That was January. Yeah, they haven't won since January 12th. The Suns haven't.
My God, that is...
They lost to the Cavs for
as bad as it
crying out
gets.
loud.
It's as bad as it gets.
And I mean, when you look at the numbers too, I mean, they're really like
Yeah, they scored a lot of points.
they're not doing. I mean, Ayton's averaging a double, and he's shooting 59% from the field. Like,
Guys, we've forgotten about defense and how important that is.
Yeah.
That's why the Suns are so terrible.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
yeah, they just can't play defense.
No, they can't.
But they knew that when they drafted Ayton.
Yeah.
He's not the best defender.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you want to blame it on Ayton, it's kind of their fault.
Yeah, and I don't hate Trevor Ariza either. I mean, I think.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Remember, he's on the Wizards now.
Missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. It's Trevor Ariza. It's not headline.
But
news.
I'm just saying, like, I think on a contending team, I feel like he could be a central piece still, you know, and so
Rockets really miss that guy.
Mhm.
They really miss that guy.
Absolutely.
Also, in this 16-game losing streak, they've only had 5 home games. And their next
Okay.
2 are also on the road.
Okay.
which
So
makes
that does. I
a
mean,
bit
that
of a
makes a difference. So
That's somewhat
still-
of a factor.
You should win one of those.
yeah.
Against the Cavs, you can go into Cleveland and win. You can beat the Hawks at home.
Man, I really underestimated how bad they were. I just rag on the Knicks. But, man,
The Suns are
the
just
Suns are
horrific.
worse. The Suns are worse.
But it doesn't make any sense because the Knicks, you know why they're bad. They don't have anybody.
Yeah.
And you see
conundrum.
all these pieces at Phoenix, and you're just like,
Well, can that really be it? Just a bad coach?
Bad defense. Horrendous
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
But the bad coaching.
You can't win with a bad coach.
Tough
you
part of the
just can't.
schedule, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah, you could say it, but like, obviously, it's gonna be a tough schedule when you're in the West and you're on the bottom of the West because like every other team is, especially this year. I mean,
They're the East team in the West.
yeah.
This is what the Eastern Conference teams look like.
Oh, man.
Imagine the Knicks in the West. They'd have like 5 wins. It'd be hilarious.
I want the Magic to take this 8 spot.
I know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
You know the
Just-
last time they won the playoffs?
we kicked them
We
out.
beat
The
'em.
Pacers
Yeah.
did, yeah.
We beat them. Big Baby Davis was on that
Oh
team.
no.
Because the Pistons are 26 and 30. That's the AC.
Yeah.
And a half game back of the Magic at 27 and 32.
But what are the odds of Blake Griffin breaking his foot or something?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Or the Hornets, or if Kemba goes through a streak where he just gets real cold, which has
Yeah.
happened.
But then you gotta think as well. You gotta think like Miami's always a team that could just slot right in there. I mean, they have. I think
they gotta
Spoelstra's
turn
a
their
decent
season
coach.
around.
I think Spoelstra's a decent coach. I think Dwayne Wade is obviously gonna probably want to get in the playoffs his final year. You know, just go out on a little bit of a
They have some
higher note.
motivation for sure.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously, like the teams are probably just going to get beat in the first round, but
Yeah, they are.
compared to the West, where like I think you could legitimately see some upsets in the West, not the Warriors, of course. But I mean, there's just a lot more parity overall in the West compared to like the top 3 teams in the East are just, I mean, good. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Kings, Warriors, that'd be a hell of a 5-game series.
Yeah.
Really would. I mean, that would be fun
Fun watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because the Lakers, I feel like they would get blown out.
Oh,
you know,
God.
LeBron might get a game by himself.
I don't even know if that's the
But-
case. Especially, like, not in the finals, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I just feel like he'll...
I mean, he's going to try.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He's definitely going to try.
The Lakers have this weird thing where I feel like the deeper they can actually get in the playoffs, the less chance they have of getting swept because LeBron will just keep getting hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But if they get that AC, it's gonna be
and like you said earlier, once they get Lonzo back, and especially in
defense.
the defense and playoff defense is insane.
Dude
Like,
can't shoot, but he can defend.
he could defend very well, and he could pass it well, and that's something that always gets kind of pushed aside when it comes to the Warriors as well. Like they are a great defensive team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like even without Boogie, and I know Boogie's not known for his defense to an extent, but he's still pretty good, you know. And it just, I mean,
He's not a scrub.
yeah, exactly. And he's long, he can block shots, so it's just gonna make it even more tough to get around the Warriors. So
It's just funny with the Warriors. Ever since they lost Bogut, the only thing they've been missing is that interior defense.
yeah,
Just a solid rim protector. I mean, McGee, kind of, but
yeah, especially with the Warriors.
that's their only
kind of.
weakness. That's
Yeah.
their only weakness right now.
And I think McGee with the Lakers is a different player than he was with the Warriors.
Yeah, way different. He anchors that defense.
He does, he really does, and he's become more of a defensive player.
He's
you
not
know?
a meme anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's actually a legit player.
He was the original Shackton.
Yeah,
No, he was. You know, he owned Shackton for about a couple years. So just
Him and Kendrick.
Yeah. My God.
Perk. But, yeah. I don't know. That's probably a good stopping point, guys. Probably really
Got a
good
lot of talk.
episode. Got a
Yeah.
lot in. So,
NBA.
And the
Bob
combine's
Kraft.
coming up here, and we're gonna have Chris on for that.
yeah,
He's
Chris
going to
Norton.
the-
Chris Norton's covering the combine for Malcolm and sports journalism program. So,
Sports Capital
yeah.
journalism.
So he's going to come and talk about that. Talk about Kyler.
Mhm.
That'd be cool. So,
It'll be a fun episode.
all right, guys. Thanks for listening.